friends, how are you? Today we are going to talk about adding integers. Remember, an integer is simply a positive or negative whole number. Okay? So we are talking about adding positive and negative whole numbers. Now, the cool thing about this is that actually the skill and the way that we show you how to add integers, we will also be using the same way to subtract integers. So our next lesson will be exactly the same. So these little guys right here are going to be very helpful. So if the integers have the same sign, add them together and keep the sign. And if the integers have different signs, subtract them. The answer takes the sign of the larger number because there are more of them. But let's see how that works in action, because actually we have a little song for you. So this slide talks about opposites. And so we have the opposite of 2 is negative 2. Okay, so the opposite of 3 would be negative 3. Real world example might be negative 3 degrees and positive 3 degrees. Okay, those are called additive inverses. Why? Well, because we're adding the opposite or the inverse, and that gives us a 0. Now, don't confuse that with absolute value. Absolute value, remember, on the last lesson, if I had the absolute value of 3, that simply meant how far away from 0 that is. And it is 3 away from 0. Absolute value cannot be a negative number. Okay, so we'll get rid of this and we will go on to our song. So I hope you're ready to sing here. So this little song actually is sung to the tune of Row, Row, Row Your Boat. And so it kind of helps us to think about what we do with the numbers that have signs in front of them. So same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. Take the sign of the higher number, then you'll be exact. Now, if we were in class, obviously we would make you sing this and we would have a lot of fun with it. But you certainly don't want me singing this for you. So I'm just going to keep repeating it as we're going through the problems on this slide. All right, so let's put this into action here. So we have 2 signs actually that are right next to each other. And what we want to do is we want to simplify those signs. If the signs are the same, if I have 2 positives or 2 negatives right next to each other, I'm going to simplify those to 1 plus sign. If I have two different signs right next to each other, now remember, they have to be right next to each other. I can simplify those into 1 minus sign. Then I can sing my song and figure out how to do this. So I have a plus and a minus right next to each other. And I can use the word plus and positive, same. I can use minus and negative, the same. They mean exactly the same thing. A minus and a negative actually mean do the opposite of. So that kind of makes sense. If I have a positive 2 and then a negative 2, that negative 2 is the opposite of positive 2, like we just talked about. All right, so we have 2 signs that are opposite, and we're going to change it to 1 minus sign. So now my problem looks like negative 3 minus 2. Every number has a sign in front of him. Every number has a sign. So same signs, add and keep. Yes, that's exactly what we're going to do. We have a negative 3 that we are going to put together with a negative 2. We're going to add the numbers, the 3 and the 2, and we get a 5. And then we are going to keep the negative sign. So we are going to add and keep. All right, let's look at number 2. Same signs, right next to each other? No. These guys are different. And what do we do with signs that are different? We're going to change them into 1 minus sign. So there is 1 sign in front of every number now. The negative goes with the 26, and the negative or the minus goes with the 17. Sing your song. Same signs, add and keep. Yes, they do have the same sign. So I'm going to add the numbers and keep the sign. My answer is a negative 43. Okay, let's look at a couple of these. 2 signs right next to each other. The plus and the minus become 1 minus. So I have a -5 put together with a -7. Let's think about that in temperature. It's -5 degrees and the temperature goes down 7 degrees. Where are we at? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Yeah, we're at a -12. But let's see what the song says. Same signs mean I add and keep. Yeah, I'm going to still add the 5 and 7 and get 12 and keep that sign. Okay, letter B. Two signs right next to each other. Let's simplify them. A plus and a minus becomes 1 minus. The number or the sign in front of each of these are both negative. -10 minus 4, same signs, add and keep. Yes, I'm going to add the numbers together and keep that negative. All right, you will do letter C on your own. Let's go on to slide 5. Okay, so slide 5. Looks like it's a little bit easier. I don't have as many signs to worry about. But let's do a couple of these together. Number 3, 5 plus a -3. Two signs right next to each other? Yes. Okay, what do they become? Let's use blue. What do they become? They become 1 minus. 5 minus 3. Let's not read more into that than what we need to. Okay, I'll let you do 4 on your own, but letter D. 6 plus a -7. Those two signs are right next to each other. A plus and a minus, different signs become 1 minus. Now, what is this sign that is in front of the 6 here? He doesn't have a sign, does he? Well, remember, if there are no signs in front of him, he is an automatic positive. Okay, so the 6 is a positive, the 7 is a negative or a minus, however you want to say it. Same signs, add and keep? No. Different signs, subtract? Yes. They do have different signs. So 7 minus 6 is 1. Take the sign of the higher number. All right. So does 6 have more positives or does 7 bring more negatives? Well, of course, I have more negatives. So my answer is going to be a -1. I'll let you do E on your own. And we go on to slide number 6. Well, this one is just actually trying to trick us. So let's look at it. We have 3 numbers here. So I have this plus a negative right here. And we know the two signs that are different right next to each other can be turned into 1 minus sign. I have a plus and -15, and those also can be turned into 1 minus sign. So now I have 2 minus 15 minus 2. Now really, let's think about this. Is there something here that I can combine to help me out that will simplify my life just a little bit? 2 minus 2, maybe? Two minus 2 is actually 0. So if I combine 2 minus 2, they cancel each other out. And I have a -15, and that, my friend, is indeed what my answer is. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and solve these, you sure could. 2 minus a 15 gives you a -13. A -13 minus 2 more, same signs mean that you add the numbers and keep the sign. It still comes out to be the exact same answer. Let's look at letter F. Letter F, plus a minus. All right, those two signs are different. Makes it 1 negative. So I have a positive 10 minus 12. Same signs, add and keep? No. Different signs, subtract? Yes. So because I subtract them, 12 minus 10 is 2. Take the sign of the higher number. Well, 12 is obviously bigger than 10, and the sign that comes with it is a minus. That means there are more negatives in this problem than there are positives. And your answer is a -2. I look at letter G. I have a -13 plus 18. I have no signs to simplify here. And so I simply sing my song. Same signs, add and keep? No, they aren't the same signs. Different signs, subtract? Yes, you will subtract them. 18 minus 13 is a grand total of 5. Take the sign of the higher number Well, who's higher, 18 or 13? 18 is, and so 18 has positive, and so your answer is a positive 5. I'll let you do letter H on your own, and we will go on to slide 7. Remember, if at any time we are going too fast on this for you, you are free to stop this video and go back and replay it. That's the cool thing about having all of your lesson on a video. All right, once again, we have 2 yellow boxes, and we're talking some word problems, trying to figure out what is going on. So a roller coaster starts at point A, and then it goes up 20 feet. So we're going to say up 20. And then it goes down 32 feet. So we're going to put a minus 32. And then it goes up 16 feet. So I'm going to put a plus 16. Now, it says write an addition sentence to find the height at point B in relation to point A, and then explain its meaning. Okay, so point A is where we started. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, and here is point B. Now, what happened? Well, I simply do a math problem, and I'm going to actually bring it down here where I have a little bit of room. And so I have a positive 20 minus 32 plus 16. Okay, does every number have one sign in front of it? Sure does. And I see this right here. So I take the first 2. Same signs, add and keep? No, they do not have the same sign. Different signs, subtract? Yeah, that's what they have. They have different signs. 32 minus 20 gives me 12. Take the sign of the higher number. Well, 32 is obviously bigger, and 32 has the negative. So my answer is a negative 12. But I'm not done. I have a negative 12 plus 16. And so I sing my song again. Same signs, add and keep? No, they do not have the same signs. Different signs, subtract? They sure do. They have different signs. 16 minus 12 is 4. Take the sign of the higher number. Well, 16 is higher. Then you'll be exact. And so your answer would be 4. Now, explain its meaning. So what does that mean? A to B is what? It is 4 feet higher from point A to B. Okay? We're going to let you do a letter I. Has to do with temperature. Temperature seems to be a little bit easier to explain, or a little bit easier to understand, rather. And so you should be fine there. All right, so let's go on. We have slide 8. Okay? And on slide 8, maybe we have slide 8. Okay, so you see this. This is going to be your independent practice. And so with these, you will solve them exactly like what we have just done throughout this lesson. You are going to simplify your signs if they happen to be right next to each other. And then you are going to sing the song, and that will help you to solve these. Let's do number 2 together. So does every number have one sign in front of him? Well, the 10 has a minus, a negative 10. So he's good. But I see 2 signs right here. So I'm going to get rid of those 2 signs, and I'm going to make it 1 minus. Why? Because the signs were different. So now I'm putting together a negative 10 with a minus 15. Negative 10 minus 15. Let's think about that in real world terms. Down 10 degrees, and I go down, or it gets colder, 15 more degrees. Well, I'm obviously not going to be in the positive degrees because it keeps getting colder. So I'm going to add my 2 numbers together, same signs, add and keep. So I add the numbers together and I get 25, and I keep. What do I keep? I keep that same sign. It becomes a negative 25. Now let's think about this in football terms. I have a loss of 10 yards. On the next play, I lose 15 more yards. Where am I at? Well, I'm now lost 25 yards total. Okay? All right, so let's think about this in money. I owe my mom $10. I wanted something really cool, and I had to go borrow money. I owe my mom $10. Well, I find something else that I really want, and I have to go back and I have to borrow $15 more dollars. So now I not only owe 10, but I owe 15 more. How much do I owe her? Well, I add those two numbers together and I still owe her $25. Okay, you will finish the rest of these problems on your own, but I still want to review this. If you withdraw $20 from your bank, you want to know what that is in relationship to the bank account. So withdrawing it means you're going to subtract it out of your bank account. However, deposit means you are going to put in that money in your bank account. Put in that money in your bank account, okay? All right, so you have these slides to finish up. And once again, if you get stuck, we have lots of videos for you to watch. We also have some activities for you to do. And you always, always, always can replay this video. All right, folks, you can do this.